evening, and thank you for being here this evening with us at this beautiful Marina Event Center, Riviera Beach. I bring greetings from City Council. My colleague, Kashana Miller Anderson, is here with us this evening, and I'm sure the rest of council is watching at home. So thank you for coming this evening. We're excited to host this event, and I'll let you get started, Kristen. And thank you especially to Ms. and Ms. Kristen for making it a wonderful event. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Catherine Wilson, Artist Showcase for Palm Beaches. I'm also a practicing ophthalmologist. So, can you hear me? Is that better? We are really delighted that the Riviera Beach and the CRA partnered with Artist Showcase for Palm Beaches to bring on these wonderful, wonderful art exhibits. We had a wonderful show last month during Black History Month, and now with March being Women's History Month, we have some very phenomenal women of color who are here today and who are just phenomenal artists. So without further ado, after saying thank you to the City of Riviera Beach and here at the beautiful marina, you have to come out if you've not been. But today is very special because it being Women's History Month, we have Lawrence, we have Goldman, and we have Trina Burks. So I would like for each of them just to say hello, and at some point after we will go out and take a look at a couple of their pieces. But I'd like for them to just hear a little bit of their journey and their work with art.
She's looking at me first. My name is Lawrence, and I'm a local artist. I was born in Havana, Cuba, and came a long, long time ago. I am more American than Cuban, but I still love the culture. I paint in oils, and my specialty is landscapes.
Well, the cameras can, I'm not sure if the cameras can focus in on any of her landscapes, but she has just very, very beautiful landscapes. They really are. They're very, very soothing and calming and very relaxing.
My name is Caroline Bowman. I'm a native of Riviera Beach. I grew up here on Avenue H West. My artwork is influenced by my Caribbean culture and my Latin roots and African roots, of course. It's based on basically a lot of folklore, a lot of the Caribbean culture. It's abstract and multicultural, and it's very colorful.
Karen has wonderful work. She really does. I see you have some embroidery work.
Oh yeah. I do work in fiber as well.
Yes. Tell us about your purses and your shoes.
Oh. Oh, my dress. I like to work in textiles, and I like, I do hand-painted handbags. I do hand-painted shoes. I also design my dresses, as you can see here, with my artwork on it. And I have a lot of fun with my artwork, let's put it that way.
Thank you, Karen. And Trina?
Well, my name is, can you hear me? My name is Trina Slade Burks, and I'm based out of West Palm Beach, originally from New York City. Born in Harlem, raised in the Bronx. I went to a high school where I decided then that I was going to become an artist after a long battle with myself of deciding whether I was going to be a CPA, dealing in math. So I did go to college in Fort Lauderdale, where I met my husband, Anthony Burks. And from there, my journey into creating kind of stemmed from my mother, who was a seamstress and a self-taught artist. So her name was Liddy Slade, and I started loving to feel textile and started incorporating that into what I started doing, which was figurative work, and got more into the abstract field. So now my love for mixed media came about after that journey.
Tell us a little bit about your two pieces there. Your two pieces that you have.
So the two big pieces in the show are part of that journey of transition. So There's some acrylic incorporated onto a door. So I cut down a door and created these two women. One is dancing, it's actually dancing lady, but it's a girl doing a little bit of African dance with the garments of things that I have found and trading with other fiber artists. And the other one is actually named Shirley, named after my mother. Not only was she an artist and a seamstress, but she was very much a fashionista. So that style that I have there kind of represents what she was all about. My father was into also clothing, women's clothing. He worked in the garment district in New York for a little bit. So he had an understanding of how women look great in certain clothing. So I kind of implemented that in the piece culturally.
Good. So, okay, would you like to tell us a little bit more about the landscape pieces that you have out and what kind of inspired you?
Sure. One of the pieces that I have out there is called Me My Heart. And that is from a vacation that we took to Richmond, Virginia. And Maymont Park is just beautiful, glorious park. I mean, I went there and I felt like a butterfly, taking pictures of everything. And it's just, as a matter of fact, I think I had done maybe 5, 6 paintings from that vacation. But the painting that I have there is of pillars. And one of the things that I have been in my journey, in the place that I am right now, is about what's really important. What, when I lie on my deathbed, will I have any regrets? And I came across this poem, and this poem talked about how we lean into pillars of beauty, and how we only want to attach ourselves to those areas, and there's no growth in the places of beauty, right? You know, it's in the ugly spots that we really mature, we really grow. And I'm a believer. And one of the things that it talks about is vanity, vanity, vanity. Everything is vanity. It talks about that in Ecclesiastes. And what is it? If not vanity, right? What is that? And so that's why I did the pillars with the flowers, because it's all vanity, and there's no growth in vanity. There's no growth. We don't go from place to place. And not only that, but I wonder, when we lie in our deathbed and when we think about our lives, will we really think about the beautiful spots? And will we not give the hard parts, the hard struggles, the fight, more or just as much attention?
You know, I think that's really, really important in the sense that there's so much, you know, there's the dichotomy of there's pain and there's struggle, but also out of that comes beauty. And I think art does that more than anything else, and being able to express it. You know, whether it's visual art or performing art, music, but the visual arts really does that. You know, we have another wonderful artist out here. She was here probably 8 or 9 years ago at the Norton Museum, Faith Wrangle. I don't know, she does so many children's books, and she's been around. We have 2 of her pieces out there, and she just brings to mind Karen, because everybody, when I saw her at Soul of a Nation at the Crystal Bridges Museum, Alice Walton's place in Bentonville, Arkansas. But, and Faith Wrangle must be about 90, or I think she's about 90 years old. She is still alive, and her work has gotten way up there because the prints that are out there, well, the lithographs that are out there are quite expensive. But she really has done so many things, and she talks a lot about this, about the importance and really all of the stories that she has, the books that she has for children, and getting. And the one thing that she does say, because so much of her artwork looks like quilts. Yes. And she says that is not a quilt. That is not a quilt. Yeah. I painted that. That is on canvas. Yeah. So I just want Karen to talk a little bit about how she sees it. She sees any parallels between her work and Faith Wrangle's.
When she came to the North, and I had the pleasure of meeting with her and talking with her for quite a bit, she was wonderful, very gracious. And we did have a lot of similarities in how we approached work, and it was exciting to meet her. One of the things that was different between me and her was she said when she saw my work, she said, this is what people think I do. You know, they think I sew everything on these things when I really just paint. And one of the reasons why she went to that was because Miss Wrangle, unfortunately, had gone through a period in her life where she was blackballed for her political activities. And as a result, she had protested the MoMA Museum in New York, and along with other Black artists. And at the time, they were not doing any exhibitions in the MoMA with African American artists. So she went on and protested them with this group. As a result of that protest, they punished her by blackballing her throughout New York, so she could not get a show. Now, don't think they were not successful. That's the sad part about this story. She was successful in getting Black people into the MoMA, but they wanted to punish her because she was the ringleader of this group. So what she decided to do was go to making quilt-like structures. She figured that shipping a canvas was too expensive. You know, shipping a picture with its frame and all that is very expensive. But if you could roll it up, it becomes very less expensive. So she was able to do shows around the country by using the quilt framework. So what she would do is put her canvas on a cloth background like you would do a quilt. So she was able to send them around the country. And needless to say, as Dr. Lowe has said, that her work has gone up in tremendous value since then. And all of the artists pretty much who were a part of that protest, Benny Andrews and other people, work is now in major museums and major collections. So they were eventually justified for their efforts and stuff and commended for them. For me as an artist, I love working with textiles. I think the African American culture is a rich one, and there's a lot to draw from that. And of course, my whole thing is the whole connection between Africa, the Caribbean culture, and African American culture. So I'm very much interested in folklore and the Southern vernacular. So that my ideas for my work are abstract. So I use a lot of abstract forms, African masks, African symbolism, symbolism that you see in quilts. For example, when we did the fence out here, that's an example of a textile pattern that we used there. We used African American quilts, Underground Railroad quilts, as inspiration for that. The triangle pattern that you see throughout it is something you find in African textile designs. And keep in mind, when you look at African textiles, keep in mind a lot of them have a lot of meaning deeper than just what you're seeing visually. They communicate concepts and ideas.
Thank you, Karen. It's interesting when you mention the African diaspora. And so often, artists going way back have basically talked about, and especially when we start talking about for children, art is healing. And so often, kids are very stressed right now with all that's going on with COVID and they're not being able to get outside and play. And there's a lot of therapy that's needed to take place at this point in time. So art usually is a very, very good form of expression for children to be able to put on paper, drawings, what collage, however they do it, whatever medium they work with, it winds up being very therapeutic for them. And for a lot of people of color, a lot of people who've gone through a lot of struggle, and it's usually been very, very, very beneficial. And people say that's the only way that I can get any kind of release or a chance to be able to express how I'm really feeling, because I can't talk about it or anything else. I guess the musicians, they do it with their music. But for the visual artists, I think when they pick up pen and pencil or something to create, it releases something for them. And it's probably even releases endorphins. If anybody who's a runner and knows how just getting out and say, I have to run. If I can't run and I can't release my endorphins, I'm just going to be all up in knots. Now, we do have several other artists. I don't know if we're going to have enough time for any questions and answers, but there were several other artists who weren't able to be here this evening, but their work is going to be up for the rest of the month. And just to go through a few of them very, very quickly, there is, I know that Sean Henderson has a wonderful piece out there. And it's really a still life, but Sean has been so clever, where you just have a flower and a teapot and things like that. But the piece is called Don't Drink the Kool-Aid. It has a lot of very, very heavy political undertones. There's a picture of one of our former presidents up there, and they're really talking, it's really taking even people back to Jim Jones and drinking the cyanide and things like that. So she has a lot of heavy messages in that piece. But yet, if you were just passing by, you would just enjoy the flower, the teapot, and those kinds of things. You go on and get up to it very closely and then start inspecting. There are a lot of other messages in that piece. So what we always say about art, it's in the eye of the beholder. Everybody's going to get something different. It's going to evoke a different emotion, a different thought, something that's happened in the past. So that's the wonderful thing about visual art. We have Tracy Ito. What can I say about Tracy? Tracy is just such a wonderful artist. Has Tracy had a baby?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she's got a baby. Oh,
Yes.
Pretty much a budding artist.
We had them down at the, I just recently did a civil rights mural down in West Palm, and we had a, Tracy was one of the artists participating, and she brought the baby.
Okay, that's wonderful. She just does wonderful pieces. There's so much movement in her pieces. One of them is of that abstract lady. I mean, she's just wonderful what she does with the art. The things that you see in it. The mood, the emotions that it evokes. So she really is just a phenomenal artist. Then we have Crystal Bacchus down at FAU. And she does just wonderful. I think she's from Trinidad. And she just does wonderful pieces, really, really wonderful pieces. They're very bright, they're very colorful. She does a lot of females as well. The animal series she has, the Wise Old Owl, several other pieces that she has here. But, and most of her work is also mixed media. So we really have a large array of just very, very wonderful artists. So we would hope that everybody would have a chance to come out and see the artwork. I know Trina's talked about her pieces, and we really have lots of artwork that you really want to take home, put it on your walls, put it in your office, or make it a gift to someone. And we especially need to inspire the children. So I'm very happy to hear that our artists are already bringing their children and getting them involved with this whole process. We also, I think, mentioned Barbara Cheese, and Barbara Cheese helped us out a lot. Barbara's really, really been very good, because we did last month with Black History, social injustice, and all the other things that are going on. And Barbara's been very, very good at working with that. And she also likes to do a lot of things with textiles and fabrics. And she likes to really kind of mix the African motif with a lot of the Asian, the Eastern, and the Asian and Japanese pieces. So she has also very, very wonderful pieces out there. So please make sure it's very reasonably priced as well. So we have the full range of the prices for the art that we have on display out there this month for Women's History Month. Is there any time for any questions, or are we good on time?
Yeah, you can put a question. I'm just going to end the videos here.
Okay, all right. Would anybody have a chance to see the